Welcome back to my spiritual experience with your host, Brother Sadiq. Today we have a new guest in the house. This is a longtime friend of mine, very close. This is also what you call a Mestre, Mestre Iuri Santos of Capoeira, Angola. Welcome, sir.
How you doing? How you doing, my brother?
I am well. I am
Brother
well.
Sadiq, it's good to see you again.
Always, always. And
Yes.
I know you had been traveling recently. You've been home, right?
Yes, I go home almost every year. I try to keep that connection,
And
with
tell the people where
parents and
home is.
everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
where is home? Tell the people where
My
home is.
yeah, I today I have half of my life. It is funny how time goes fast because when you realize you have half of your life, you know, home and you have other half here. So now it's like you can say you have two homes, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
It's like my house, where I grew up, actually I can say, Salvador da Bahia, Salvador of Bahia, Brazil.
Okay,
That's where it's home.
okay. Very good, very good. And you get to visit every year. That's a blessing, brother.
Every year, skip couple years, but try to go
Yeah,
every year because you never know when you're gonna, when your parents gonna
yeah.
go to the other state of life. Feel
Yes,
me?
I, yes, I. As you know, my mom passed last year. RIP to her. And it's transformative. So definitely good to always be able to keep connected and get over there and see them. So I'm glad that's always available to you.
Yes, Linda's mother, I believe she's 95 now, so
Wow.
but she can see her mother every weekend, and I
Yeah.
only see once a year for a month.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Right. It's a blessing, though. It's definitely a blessing. I mean, the average cat ain't affording to travel the world like you are.
yeah, I wish was the road. No,
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to go to the real home. I want to go see Africa.
Okay.
Step there.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
especially West Africa, where a lot of my ancestors, came from.
Okay.
So I'd like to go there and check it out.
I definitely I definitely want to get into eventually. So what I do is here is we'll do an initial interview, and that pretty much just introduces the people to you, and we get a background on your spiritual experiences. And then I also later would love for you to come back on and do a like a outline interview of 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 the history of what you teach, um, the culture.
That
Um, yeah, I would love for you to come and talk more about capoeira because I don't think a lot of our people in America know much about, you know, that skill.
it is good. Yes, it's always good when you get the opportunity to share capoeira with. No, it doesn't matter how big is the group, but now I've been here since in 1998, and when you're thinking you already have exposed it, no capoeira
Mm.
to a lot of people, but you find so many people that never heard of it and never seen.
Yes, yes, very, very, very surprising to me too because I was talking to a couple of people this week about this up and coming interview, and I was like, "Yeah, he's a capoeira master," and I was like, "What is that?" And it was so many people that had no idea, and I'm like, "Wow, this is kind of interesting because I've known you for years, so I've known about capoeira, and I've actually practiced some and played a little bit, and so I have an insight. But yeah, I'd love for you to eventually come back onto the show and talk more about that. But what I do want to get into first, as I always do with all of my guests, when do you remember? When was your first spiritual experience that you remember, like something happening outside of the chaos of everyday life?
Man, I was thinking about that for a while because I've been watching your shows. Little bit. I just watched actually Brother McCoy
Okay.
today. One of your old friends, I think.
Okay.
And it was good the way I saw the way he was talking about how he rediscovered God, because he was taught in a different way in the beginning, and then he started to see. And
Mm.
I'm thinking about my own experiences now because you invited me for this interview,
Yes.
and I was like, man, when was that? And I actually remember few things because I'm not a person that devote 100% of my life for um, how to say meditation and trying to seeking for a spiritual experience all the time
Right.
because the rhythm of my life and all kind of things. But there's little things actually through capoeira Angola, through capoeira teachings, that I actually you have to do constantly, have to deal with ancestors and spirits all the time.
Uh-huh.
So you have to do things that to keep that connection. You don't
Okay.
want to lose that connection with the ancestors in Capoeira, Angola, especially.
Okay.
Né? And through Capoeira Angola teachings, I start to see them for my own personal life, like with my parents, with my great parents, my real relatives, my family, all those things. Anyway, but I grew up in Salvador. Salvador, a city that was founded in 1549.
Wow.
Salvador is 80%, if it's not more, black. It is like in Africa, and Salvador is a city that's a population close to 4 million people.
Wow.
It's like the I think the third largest city of Brazil, probably
Okay.
something like that.
Wow.
Not the yes, not the third, the fourth city for sure.
Okay.
And so in Salvador, there is around 2,000 terreiros. What's terreiro? Terreiro is uh, a secret, a holy place where the Africans devote for their own religion, for their own thing.
It's called a Tejero.
Terreiros,
Okay.
terreiro de candomblé. So it's like some terreiros are older, some has been there since slavery. Some is been there for less time, but sometimes it's a land that has been there since slavery times.
So it is dedicated to the religion of the African slaves.
Exactly. That is something that from the West Africa, from West Africa, and mostly Nigeria and Benin,
Okay.
that in Brazil actually became a little different by adaptation,
Okay.
because the culture adapts whenever they go. And I was never like, I'm not an expert on this,
Mhm.
but if you grew up in Salvador, you're gonna get a point of your life where you're gonna see that.
Okay.
You're gonna get exposed to that culture.
Yeah.
And my grandpa, actually, from my father's side, he came from a region of the state of Bahia. Some Americans call Bahia, because the H that is in the word. The state of Bahia, where I come from,
Mhm.
there's a region where we call Recôncavo of Bahia. and is a region of the state that surround the bay, which they call the Bay of All the Saints.
Okay.
It's a big bay that is around Salvador, my hometown.
Okay.
And there's around 20 cities that around the bay, 20 small cities that at colonial time, those cities was very, how to say, those cities were very strong on growing tobacco, sugarcane, cassava, root, and yes, was a lot of farms at slavery time as well.
Okay.
That's where the region where my grandpa came from.
So agricultural area.
Yeah, exactly. So, and a lot of ceramics as well. They used to make, African pottery, plates and pots and things, that kind of thing as well. A lot of things made by, of course, by African hands, right?
Right.
So my grandpa came to the city, and from the region that was very strong actually with the African spirituality and religion.
So the agricultural area he was in was a stronghold for the religion.
Exactly, because it was the slave farms and the whole region.
Right, makes sense.
But my grandpa never was involved in that thing. You feel me? He was never involved in that kind of thing.
Okay.
And he became a lawyer actually, and built a big house. He had 7 sons and daughters, like 4 sons and 3 daughters.
Okay.
And everybody was living in the house, and a lot of them still live in the house today. So, and he married a white lady.
Okay.
And that's the house where I had my first, like, spiritual, like, I don't know how to say experience, like I saw something. You feel me? I saw something, and I don't remember if that was before what I seen my grandma, my white grandma with blue eyes. That married my grandpa. What I seen a manifestation in my grandma. I don't know if it's before or after that, because I was a kid, and me and my parents, we used to sleep in a room upstairs because my grandpa built a 4-story house.
Wow.
Yes. He from nothing, from post-slavery, he became a lawyer and built that big house and put all the kids in the house and stuff.
Right.
Anyway, so I remember one day, man, and I opened the door and I look behind the door, the corner of the door behind the door, like when you close the door. And it was a little dark in the room, and I was going to turn the light on behind the door, and I see a bunch of like bones and dead things and a bunch of things, and I freak out, and I was like, I think I was probably 10 years old.
Hold on, slow down. You said bones? What do you mean, like skeletons?
A bunch of dead bodies, bones and blood and things like that. Everything mixed.
Behind the door?
Yeah, and I know that I screamed that day. I remember that I screamed as a kid because I was sure what I saw. You know what I mean? I see, I'm like,
so.
What is this? I'm like, whoa, what?
Yes, of course. That's what I'm
wondering. Everybody's asking me, right, why I'm screaming, right?
Right.
Why I'm screaming, why happened? Nobody believe, of course, what I see. Besides my grandma, because my grandma was involved in spiritualism.
So let me ask you, what did you, so you was finna hit the light, you was moving the door, it's kind of dark, you finna hit the light, and behind the door, you saw
the wall and the door, yes.
So like a scene, it was like a TV screen, or just It was.
I just see like a vision, like I don't know if that was a message or if it was whatever. I couldn't understand. I was so young that I couldn't put together anything. I just see blood, bones, and that things, And I'm like, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, what is this? Anyway, but my crazy experience, it was with my grandma, because
let's not go from hold on. We got to go back. We got to go back. You said your grandmother was a spiritualist, and she was the one who believed you.
After she got it, what I'm gonna tell you now, what happened, what I'm gonna tell you now, she got into spiritualism. Okay. In my neighborhood was a house, the spiritualism house, actually. Okay. In my neighborhood, like you live in Salvador, man. In my neighborhood, you go down in the valley, there is a Yoruba house, né? Candomblé, Ifá. You go to the other, close to the other valley, there is other one. Then you go to the street, there is a spiritualism house.
So all of these houses that you mentioned, these are like places where you get like spiritual insight, or these are like witch doctors, or what would American people consider these people to be like? Witch doctors
as well, because spiritualism is very famous here. First, the guy that found spiritualism was in the United States.
Okay.
I believe.
What is his name?
Allan Kardec, I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not sure his name. I don't remember. Okay. But that's very famous, and there's actually a documentary that I watched. My memory is not good with names and dates.
Okay. Yes, sir.
But I watched a documentary actually here on Netflix, I believe, about that. And a lot of somehow they had a land and a place where they practice spiritualism, where they talk actually to the ancestors, to dead people.
Okay.
They have that power. Né? And in Brazil was a guy that was very famous called Chico Xavier Xavier, né? Chico Xavier. And Chico, he used to close his eye, and you go there, for example, you go visit the guy for a consultation. And you say, I have unfinished business with my grandpa that I would like to talk to him. We had some problems before he passed. Mm-hmm. And you sit with the guy, man, he'll close his eye and he starts to write and everything. And he'll write. And when you look, the reading is just like your grandpa's writing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the guy wrote many books, and famous artists, famous people, everybody should make lines to go visit the guy.
Right.
So it is a practicing. I don't even call religion spiritualism, right?
So that's what those houses are?
That's what those houses, not the African houses, all right? Okay? I was talking about the terreiros, remember?
Okay.
The terreiros is something different that come from Africa.
Okay.
And they deal with the ancestors.
Okay.
They come from Ifa. Actually, our brother Abba Razanebana is actually getting initiated and is becoming a Babalao, a priest. And they have a version in Cuba. They have other version in Haiti. Okay. And in Brazil, we call Candomblé. And they have other one they call Umbanda, and they play drums and they sing in African language. They invoke the ancestors and they devote it to the orishas, right?
Right.
I'm not an expert in that, but I grew up seeing those things.
Yes, sir.
Spiritualism is totally different. It's kind of same energy. They deal with the spirit as well. Mm-hmm. But spiritualism is a house that they have, and they have the guy that has the power to talk to these dead people. Mm. And sometimes somebody in the family or somebody in somebody's family get it also have the same ability, né, we call medium, the medium. They can receive the spirit.
Right.
So sometimes they get possessed with the spirit and they don't know how to control that. They don't know what to do.
Mm.
So they usually go to the spiritualism house. Now, what I see when I went there as a kid is that you go there and they treat you with they do something they call passe, where they burn the incense around you and they pass their hand around. Not they don't even touch your body much. It's like almost patting you a little bit on your shoulders, on your arms, to treat your spirit, and that's what happened to my grandma, because I was at home once. It happened 3 times, right? So I'm at home, and my white grandma, she got her Catholic saint. You know what I mean? There, she light her candle, do her prayers and stuff, and she's like an African lady because all the grandkids around her, she's telling story and that kind of thing. But one day, she just transformed in a house. Sadiq, my brother Sadiq. She started to speak with different voices, and nobody can control her movements and everything. You understand? So she's a different person.
Yeah.
And I'm freaking out because I never seen that in my life. I'm like, what's happening here? And I never see my grandma dealing with that kind of energy.
Yeah.
She's not a person that never went to the Yoruba house, the terreiros, the candomblé, and never went to the spiritualism either.
Right.
So she just get possessed in the house with the spirits,
Wow. So let me ask you, how old were you?
I was around 11, 12 years old.
Okay. So you had a pretty good consciousness, like you weren't a kid.
No, I wasn't a kid anymore.
Right.
Yeah, so I was not that little anymore. So I'm like, what's going on here? So I start to thinking about movies that you watch and everything. American movies, of course, that's what they show, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the exorcism and that kind of thing, and you're like, what is that?
Wow. So when that happened, you were there, and your cousins, who was there? Who witnessed it?
My aunties, my brother, sister, that were there, start trying to help her. So that's when she get involved in the spiritualism.
Mm.
And she go, and it's funny because I went there now to Brazil, and my 2 students, Lalena and Kenan, they were renting an apartment in the same street where they have the Institute Bezerra de Menezes. Bezerra de Menezes was a famous spiritualism person. And there is an institute, the same house where my grandma used to go. It's still there.
Wow.
You feel me? I was like, oh, it's right there.
Say the energy remains, huh?
Yes, and behind there is a favela, a slums right behind now.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, so anyway, so that was like my strongest experience, like to actually see something. And I always question myself, man, do you think I have the power too that's gonna happen to me someday? It never did, but it did in a different way, not totally like when you get it like out of yourself with it, when you don't remember things, like that. When my sister is different, my sister starts to go to the Umbanda house. Umbanda is another variety of the African Ifa, the divination people. Umbanda, when you got the African spirituality got in Brazil, also got connected with the indigenous and the Catholicism, the Christianity as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Umbanda, they play the drums as well. They do all the stuff, but they pray for both vibes. And my sister, she receives Yansan. Yansan is the god of the wind, of the storms. Is in Africa. Is actually the Orisha of the god. And my sister actually she dance when she get it, when she receives Yansan,
Mm-hmm.
she spin all night. Yes, spin like dancing.
Like
In a dance. And I asked her because of my sister. Before I moved to the United States, I used to question my sister. Hey, why you straightening up your hair? You black.
right,
Don't straighten up your hair, like get curly, like it's natural, like it is.
right,
And but she never went to the African spirituality house.
right.
And one day she goes, that thing boom on her. She starts to spin, man.
So let me ask you, when you so you talk about like where you are, where you grew up, it sounds like there is a very vibrant spiritual aspect to just everyday life.
Yes, man. When you drive through the city at the soccer stadium, there is this old lake that was built by Dutch people, by the Hollanders
Mm-hmm.
people in the middle of the city, big one. And in the middle of the city, they have a giant statues of the Orishas,
Wow,
Yansan, the African gods. Yansan, you drive and you see the African gods in the middle of the lake.
wow.
Somebody made it. Yeah. So when I was a kid, on my way to the beach, because it's like 30 minutes walk, 25, 30 minutes walk from my house. So you go down in the valley. So every crossroad, you see a ceramic, sometimes with a dead chicken, with an offer.
So that's
We call
like I've heard the crossroad is like Legba.
elegua.
And
They
okay,
call it Eshu in the Yoruba,
so
in
you
Brazil. Eshu.
walk, walking down, say 30-minute walk, you see it every
Eshu,
crossroad.
yeah. And a lot of people connect from other cultures. They like to connect the legua and the shoe with a negative energy, but it's nothing to do with that. The devil in the African beliefs, they don't have a devil.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
don't have that.
You
They
know,
actually, when people talk about the devil to them, they actually say, "Man, this is for you, man." They say, this is white man creation. We don't have a devil here. You know what I mean?
you know, the Baha'is don't have a devil either. The Baha'is don't believe that either, bro. So
So
yeah, so and there are several religions that don't really believe that.
yes,
And so the analogy, like we mentioned it before about the born sinner thing, right? You know what I
yes.
mean? If you're a born sinner, that has to somehow relate to the devil, right? to
So
some
that so that they call a ball in Yoruba when somebody make an offer or make a kind of work. You know, sometimes to open your pads to you know what I mean to help you in something.
Mm.
And you know, unfortunately, there's some people that like to use their power in the wrong way. You know,
So so let me say about these bowls that are at the crossroads, right? You mentioned that they're like spiritual tools.
yes, 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 works.
And so the like so you say you when you walk by and there might be a dead chicken in it.
Yes, man. My parents, everybody, man, they walk away, go
What?
around, go
Right,
around. You know, do not touch it there, leave it there, respect that. Don't mess with that thing. My
right,
parents always taught me that.
right.
Don't mess with that. But there's some people, man, that they go there and they see a bottle of whiskey there, you know, and they get it. And man, people say that can happen all kinds of bad things to you if you do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And stuff. And I'm like, I'm not messing with that. Anyway, but once I start to deal with capoeira, that's when I actually start to go visit the Yoruba houses.
Okay.
Because capoeira and at slavery time used to protect the Yoruba houses.
Okay. Give
The
us some
Yoruba
insight on
community.
that. Give us some insight onto the how long you've been doing capoeira and when you started and you know what I mean?
I start capoeira around my 14 years old, 15 years old.
Okay.
Yes. That's when I start capoeira. So when you get a chance, sometimes your teacher take you to do capoeira inside a candomblé, which is the whole community, Yoruba community. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because capoeira is a lot of people in capoeira, they are sons of, they are initiated in the African religion, in
Okay.
the African spirituality. You know, a lot of them. And today, with this fever of new evangelical church and bunch of creation of those new churches, a lot of people is actually, is been growing, and is a kind of a war sometimes. They're trying to, hurt each other. Hurt each other now. The only one person is hurt the other one, because the spiritual people from African spiritual people, they don't like violence. They don't fight like that.
Right.
But the evangelical people is trying to go, destroying the
history. They saying that you already know what
the house, burning the houses, hurting the people on the streets.
Yeah, and
that's happening.
Claiming that it is voodoo and stuff.
Yeah, that's happening now, but that happened also when the Portuguese, the colonial powers back then used to do that. You know what I mean? So you can see the similarities.
Yes. I mean, it's pretty much like you said. It's the same thing. It's like ideological war.
Exactly. So that I don't know if you've seen those videos on YouTube in Africa where you see that the big thing is spinning around.
Oh yeah, I know
exactly. You know what I mean? That's something they also have in Bahia culture, in Salvador.
Okay. Yeah,
they don't have those big things, but they have the same kind of ceremony and ritual.
And
called the Egungun. Egungun ritual is the ritual when somebody pass and you want to give the spirit to go to the ancestor to go to the right place.
Okay.
So when somebody died. So first time I went to a candomblé house, one of those houses, terreiro, was happening a big thing and outside. And I remember that my capoeira school, we used to dress black pants. And when I arrived in, the guy said, "Hey, you guys cannot stay here." That was outside, actually. They have a big land, like a little farmland. And inside the land, they have the big house where they do the ceremonies and the rituals. And they have a little house for each Orisha, for each African power.
Wow.
Yes, man. So anyway, so I'm seeing the ceremony outside, and I see this big thing with this big cloth with that was carrying a machete, a big giant knife on the hand. And there's the guys doing the drum and the music part that the music is supposed to bring the ashe, make the trance happen, right? Make the energy flow. So, man, and the kids that was doing capoeira before me, it looked like they already seen that before, and they come to me, Iuri, look at that under the clothes. And this is outside, there's no rope. There's nothing to hold the thing. Look under the clothes, and I'm like, do you see any feet there? And I'm like, There is no feet, dude. How that thing is floating, you know what I mean? Outside like this.
Yes.
You know, and I'm like, there is no rope to hold that thing. And that thing got a big knife on the hand. How it's holding the knife. You know, so I'm like, whoa. And then here in Bloomington, which you should do an interview with him, with my homie from Salvador, Bahia, that they used to take care of all the plants at the hilltop.
Okay.
André. André is the son of the oldest Egungun house of Brazil. It's like the oldest house of Africa, né, spiritual thing of Brazil. And his house is a specific expertise and assentamento de pessoas que morrem. Assentamento is like they're gonna assent the spirit of somebody that passed.
Mm.
So they prepare the passage of the spirit well. You feel me? And I seen some footages of his house, because it's the oldest house. There's these French people that went there like many years ago, and there is a documentary on YouTube that I watched the other day. And it's not only one dead the ancestor that moved through the ritual, through the space, through the community. Sometimes you see like 5 men. And I was like, wow, because I saw they doing a ceremony for one person. You feel me? Because they have many African spiritual communities, né, in a place. It's not every community that know how to do this ritual of when the spirit pass away. You feel me? Those guys are experts on that thing. Things like the Africans came to Brazil, you know?
Right.
They brought the knowledge with them.
Right.
And they did same thing. They have in Benin, in Nigeria, the same thing in Bahia. And my brother from here, he was born inside of those houses, Joe.
Wow.
So, yeah, so he can tell you all about it.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting. Yeah, that sounds like extremely interesting.
Yes, because it's not, people want to say like that, like at the Hero, people think it's just a house, a space. No, man, it's like a land, a community that those people's been there for generations and generations and generations, devoting
which basically turns that place into a portal.
Their lives for that. And it's not the family that they are, for example, the priest from the community passed away. For example, it's not his son or his daughter that are going to take his way. It's the ancestors that are going to tell who's going to take the way. It's the spirits, manifestation.
Yeah.
They throw the cowrie shell, they read, do the readings, and that's how they find out.
Right. Sort of like the same thing they do with the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, I don't know much.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, with the Dalai Lama, basically when he dies, the spiritual leaders in the community come together and they assume a region where he's supposed to be born from in the new form, and then he brings
kind of. Yes, yeah. But it's different because each person got different orishas. You know what I mean? And ori is the consciousness of your head. So each person has some orishas that govern your consciousness.
The way you think.
You know what I mean? For some people, for example, I discovered my orishas playing capoeira. This is old capoeira mestre that he passed already. And I was in the middle of the capoeira and I walk outside the capoeira and he looked at me and he's like, "You are Oxóssi." And I'm like, "What?" "Yes, you are Oxóssi and you Ogun de Honda." Ogun is the warrior, is the king of the war of is the one that's gonna help you in the battles, when you have your struggles, and stuff. So, and Oshotsi is who governed the woods. It's the spirit of the hunter.
Okay.
So, so he told me that. I'm like, come on, man. So then I go to the big traditional house, one of the oldest one in Bahia. That's where I did the preparation for Linda to have Zeca, my son.
Okay.
I went there actually. Then I stopped to go, man. I need to go back there to build my connections because there's some works to do. So when I went there and they throw the cowrie shell for me
Mm-hmm.
to do my readings, and the mother told me, because it's mostly in Africa. They say that in Africa, the Ifa, the divination, the African spirituality communities, the figure was the man, was the father in most of the communities.
Okay.
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. But in Brazil, most of the spiritual houses was a woman. And there is a man, there is one that I know there is a man as well. There's men as well. But mostly in my time was women.
Mm-hmm.
So when she threw the cowrie shell for me, my Stella, she passed not that long ago. And she says same thing that Capoeira Mestre told me.
Mm.
Yeah, you are Shossi, you are Gunde Honda. That's your Orisha. Orisha. And I never done initiation. I never was like a son of Yoruba house myself, like that go there as a like church, you know what I mean?
Right.
That
So
go there constantly. But I usually go there, Charles, to take my baths. They have herbal plants that they make a bath to clean your spirit, to open your paths.
okay.
So usually I usually go there, usually to that, and they throw the cowrie shell for me to check my life, to talk to me. And sometimes you'll be surprised because you go for the first time and they'll throw the cowrie shell for you and they tell things about your life. And they look like they know things about your life already. And you're like, how they know that?
Hmm.
How they know I did that?
So what do you think that is? What do you I mean, it sounds like your belief is sound, that you believe all of these things are real parts of experience, right? That there
Yeah.
ain't no bullshit in the game, nobody playing no games, nobody tricking nobody. This is all real to you.
No, there's nobody trick, but it's always somebody trick. Somebody trick what I'm saying. There is always the traditional, the house, the place that you can trust because the traditions of the house. And there is always a small business of people that are creating their own little business, and they actually worry much more about making money than treat someone.
And the spiritual aspect of it.
You understand?
Okay.
So you might go in the neighborhood and you see a little house, and consultation, and they have a price there, $50. You don't want to go there because that's not the real one. And they don't charge you they don't charge you money. It's totally different than the church that you gotta give you 20%, 10%. They don't charge you anything.
So when you mentioned a couple of things I want to ask about. You mentioned you had a ceremony done before Zeka was born. What is that?
I went there and I asked the Ialorisha. That's how they call the high priest in the Candomblé house. Ialorisha, the woman. And the man is a Babalorisha. Right? So I went to my Stella. She was one of the busiest one because the most famous singers of Brazil go visit that woman. And sometimes you gotta put your name on the line, hey, to go visit the woman. She write books. She travels to do seminars in Germany and Europe and all kind of stuff.
Famous.
So I go there and I ask, what can I do to my son, so he have a health, life, healthy spiritual life. He'll be a good person. He, grow up with no problem in his life, like big problem. Because problems everybody gonna have, but no big major problem. So she says, son, I'm not a superwoman to protect, everybody 100%, but we have things that we do here. So what I'm gonna do, what she told me to do was to get a red ribbon, long enough to go around my wife's belly. And she played the ribbon with some plants and stuff and some things there that I don't know what it is. Most of it is trees, leaves, plants.
Yeah.
And put this around your wife's belly. And when your son born, get it the placenta. And wrap this around the placenta. And plant a tree. And put the placenta under the tree. And plant this tree.
You
feel me?
Where that tree at?
In Brown County, there at the house there. Yes.
Very good, very good. That sounds so special, bro. That sounds wonderful. Like I feel like see there is for me there is I won't say jealousy, but there is a certain envy to the fact that you grew up in such a rich spiritual culture. You understand what I'm saying? It's like you have a connection still to who we were, what we believed before we were transformed into who we are here in America. Like we have this Christianized mindset. We don't believe everything is voodoo, everything is spooky, the devil, the demons, the evil. You know.
But I had that too. In the side of my house was a Catholic school that I grew up going, and the principal make us stand up and pray our Father standing up every day before the start school. So I had both sides, but when I started doing capoeira and learn about, because capoeira in Angola especially is a African origins culture. It's not like karate, kung fu. It's not like that.
Right.
It's Africa thing. It's
right.
different. We're dealing with ancestors, with the spirits all the time through music. So we cannot in capoeira we cannot be act like gladiators.
Right.
At least the one I learned. You know what I mean? At least the one I learned, because there's other types of capoeira out there.
Right.
And you see people beating pregnant women and everything sometimes in a capoeira circle. So that's not the kind of energy that I learned in capoeira. Now, even that sometimes you have the aspects of martial arts there, but it's not supposed to lose control.
So when you mentioned the spirits of the ancestors and the music, can you explain more?
It's like what the music does in the African religions, and in capoeira is the same thing in a different level. It takes to a trance, the repetition of the beat over and over and over and over and over. You get into your subconsciousness and the Orisha. And sometimes, if the music is well executed, if everybody's playing good, well, if they practice enough, and they are feeling that with me, if the whole group is there for one cause, playing the music for the ancestors, with one cause, you reach the trance, which we call the ashe. And sometimes you're not there. It's like you're not there. It's like you, the music, the instruments is one thing together. You feel me? It's like you forget everything. You're in a different plane. And a candomblé, a lot of it happens that people really go full on, né? Full on trance, né? Where they get possessed and they really need somebody expert to take care of the person. Because the person, you don't even know what kind entity or spirit is
So
in the person.
why you think like, okay, because like so what you're talking about is, it sounds very interesting and deeply spiritually transformative, but when you from the American perspective, when you speak of possession, people get scared, right? They like, oh no, you know what I mean?
Because they used to watch too much American movies. I used to think the same way. A Brazilian culture is very influenced by American culture.
Yes.
You know? So the dolls with the needles, né? Oh, they point the needles and the other person is feeling it.
Voodoo dolls, right?
Yeah. That's the first thing I used to think about it, you know, when I was ignorant about those things.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, but it's nothing like that. It's so pure and beautiful, the African spirituality, you know, and it's totally it's amazing because I'm getting older, and if I had a time in my life, like no commitments with family and stuff, I would go devote myself now for the the IFA in Brazil, the African spirituality more, because it's a big commitment. Brother Sadiq, I'm sorry.
All is well, all is well.
It is a big commitment.
Yes.
You make it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the spirit is talking to you all the time. So there's time that you cannot, or you're gonna stay. You gotta have like a lot of how to say discipline.
Yes, I understand. Because like I said, there was a Muslim brother who mentioned to me years ago, like, if you want to be scholarly as far as Islam go, you should not be married, because the discipline that is necessary and the, I guess you would say, selfishness, right? Because there is a certain amount of learning and whatnot that you don't have time to be with them or worry about what they need, or, you know what I'm saying? So I understand fully what you're saying by that.
Sometimes you gotta to stay there for a while. You know, they have to shave your head to do initiation. Now to mark your orisha, they kind of cut your head a little bit, so you know do the initiation in the spirituality. There's all kind of things that you go through. And there's some of my American students that went there one time, twice, and they did the whole thing.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, just like that. I'm like, really? Whoa. So you got caught by the spirit quick like that?
I'm gonna say, wow. I think American people have a almost we have like a fiendish desire for spiritual depth. You know what I mean? So when they got a chance, it's like, what?
Yeah, especially those that I call the neo hippies, you know. I don't call them totally hippies, because the hippies most of the time they didn't work as much. You know, they work but for themselves. Sometimes they have the land, they grow the food, they do their thing, you know what I mean? But I call the neo hippies is the one that have businesses, you know. Of them rich, you know, but they are, the philosophy is very hippie, I see. But they are traveling to Thailand, they go to yoga, India, you know, they want to do meditation, you know, they want to do those things. And that's the case of my student, because he was already in a Buddhist center here for a while doing meditation. And then when he got in Brazil, first person he founded, first house, he did his thing. I'm like, man, I didn't like, because the way I learned is like the spirit is call you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You don't force that stuff.
Yeah.
You know? You can actually go to a house. I learned from my friend that this is a traditional house, African teachings. from, centuries. So I'm going to this place to learn, to be part of the community because I want to learn this. But you're not gonna do your initiation until the spirit stay there this time too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's possible that they could have been inspired like as soon as like maybe they already had it like first
Yeah,
house.
that's right.
You know what I mean? First house, first guy. That's it.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. That's
it's
right.
possible.
But I'm as a Baiano from Bahia. I'm concerned because I see fake houses as well. People there, you get your money and charge you an absurd to do anything for you.
Right.
Because sometimes you need works and they throw the car shell for you and they say, oh son, your life is perfect. You are tripping too much. You are worrying too much. No, your job is teach your culture, teach your community, your spirit. The ancestor already told you that. Is to pass now your culture to teach the next generation to be better people through music, capoeira, this, you know already. So you don't be worried too much. But you gotta do this here for you to stop your anxiety or to help your spirit with vibes. But so sometimes people think that the priest is gonna kill a chicken, gonna get a bunch of blood. And no, man, nothing like that, man. They have cassava, they have yam, they have potatoes, they have like a bunch of vegetables on a tray. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. So now this is where we have to go a little deeper because there is the chicken on the road at the crossroads, right?
There's that too, yeah.
What is you gotta give us a little
Sometimes the work, the ritual is asking for something more, something serious, more serious. Something that's not going well in your life. Like a friend of my dad, he used to be the producer of my dad's band, my dad's old band when I was young. And I met him again this time in Brazil, and he's a man of spirituality, of African beliefs now. And I met the guy, he was super alcoholic. He would go on the road with my dad's band, like in the morning, he wake up, have a beer for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And drugs and everything. One day he sit and somebody, hey, you, say me, come on, you're gonna come with me. And he, no, I don't want to stay here. Man, the spiritual man, calling him, man. No, you were supposed to be doing this, and that. Such spirit told me. And he drunk and don't drug and no. So he take the guy, man, heal the guy. Then the guy's son, his son, totally addicted in cocaine, messed, sick every night doing drugs, doing alcohol. And he said, I have, and his wife has told him, our son is doing coke. And he's, no way, I know cocaine, I know coke, I done it all my life, I know this thing. Say, no, he is doing, he only get home such a time. If you pay attention, he spend all his money and this, he's losing this, he's losing that. You not pay attention on your son.
right.
So he discovered that's why he take his son, man, for his priest, the babalawo. In 3 days, he put the guy inside the spiritual house. In a week, that guy stopped drinking alcohol, stopped snoring cocaine, stopped even smoking tobacco, stopped everything.
Good, very good.
Everything, yes.
And so there is spiritual insight obviously involved there. We don't fully understand how it's all working, but it's obviously effectively changing people's lives.
It is. And it's funny because you go to a Candomblé community, Ifá, I'm saying Africa is Ifá. In Brazil, different names, right? And you go there, man, it's like, it's nothing like a church. It's a community. There is a house that teach the kids how to play the drums, teach the kids how to speak Yoruba. You know what I mean? And there's everything, everybody, each one's doing your job there. And there's nobody like dealing with money vibes and nothing like that.
Mm.
You know?
And
they live it together there. There's nobody judging nobody. First thing I learned in those community was, hey, we don't call black and white here. I say, what? I say, yeah, the spirit have no color. Don't you know that?
I agree 100%.
Of course, they know about the history. Of course, they know about slavery and candomblé, the most serious candomblé houses. They do not connect the gods with Catholic saints anymore, because it was a time where they had to do it in order to survive.
And same like Capoeira, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. And to hide the martial arts in the dance.
Yes, yes. So that that's how I explain it to people, because generally people say like, "Well, that was Capoeira," and I'll be like, "You've ever, And it's a video game character from back in the day. I can't think of his name, but that was what he did. He did Capoeira, and but I can't remember his name. He was a black guy, had an afro, and he was like one of the karate. I think it was like kickboxer or street fighter, one of them. But he used to do Capoeira.
And it's funny because once I was teaching I used to teach a 3 credit class for the IUPY, the Indiana University, Purdue, Indianapolis. And I had a document about Africa. And like right before slavery started.
Okay.
Before the Portuguese, the Europeans came to Africa, né? And it was a part of this document that was about the kingdom of Oya, which is in Nigeria, right? The kingdom of the Yoruba people. And how Mecca used to connect with them. They used to talk to each other. They used to visit each other. You feel me? Right. And I never learned about that in Brazil. When I was reading this document of this guy, I forgot the name. I still have it somewhere here that I'm gonna find and give it to you because it's English. And teach the whole process of how slavery happened, how the Catholic, the Romans and the Catholic Church created the myth of him to curse black people and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? All that stuff is in that documentary. But there's the part of the document, of this document that it talk about how the Muslims used to meet with the Yoruba people for spiritual exchange. You feel me?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, back then was different than what it is today.
Right.
You know
right.
So yes. So I was like, oh, snap. So they used to help each other in some kind of way. So I don't understand full on what was there. You know what I mean? But
some form of communication and interrelationship.
What connection going on back then until the whole Europe started the slavery process in a big scale, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly the details either, but I am under the impression that Islam was the originators of the slave trade.
Yes,
I don't know.
People say, but it was not, man, in the way. I learned in Brazil they say that too, but they say in a way like not the slave trade like in a big scale.
Right, and not, from what I understand, the inhuman levels.
the idea of slavery in some other, yes, other tribe make the person you less quality than me. You gotta be I'm stronger than you, I'm better than you, or something like that, right?
Yeah, from my understanding, it was not the dehumanizing type of slavery that we are like an animal to be sold, and you can have sex with them, they don't have no rights. You know what I mean? You can just do them however. So it was a different type of slavery that I understand.
Yeah, but also there's some new got professors talking. There was a story that even some other white scholars created. So we believe in that too,
Right. I say this all the time, like, it's damn near hard to believe anything, because once you start investigating, you find out most of what you learned was a lie. It's hard to believe damn near anything without investigating it. You know what I mean? Like, almost everything that we were told about ourselves, about history, about this nation, its foundation, the country, the people who were here when they started it. You know what I mean? From what we're understanding now, it was black people original on the land in America when the white people came.
Yes, and it's funny because the first we're going back to the spirituality vibe.
Please.
We're talking about the spirituality vibe, right? It's funny, when the first time I saw a black church, Baptist, right? Is that right? Am I right?
It could be any. I don't.
Where they sing with the choir, strong choir and stuff, mostly Baptist, right? Lutheran, right?
Right.
So anyway, when I saw the first time and I saw someone getting entranced, it's very similar what you see in the African spiritual house, man.
I don't doubt it. I actually studied a little bit about that, because I always wondered, because I used to live I was a Muslim, and so Islam don't teach much about the Holy Spirit or getting the Holy Ghost, as the Christians call it, right? But I had seen the experience happen, and it also happened to me. So regardless of what Islam is teaching, this is a true experience. Now I have to go understand what it is, right? And so through my studies, I understood just what you said about the music and the clapping, and it entrances you.
But there is other thing. The person sometimes, not every time, they talk in African language.
Yeah, so they say they call that speaking in tongues, right?
Yeah, another language, and tell which ancestor or which entity, spirit is there sometimes. Now he with this such and such. Yeah. I'm like, wow.
our over here in this part of the world, we have such a like elementary education to spirituality and the realms and all of the spiritual aspects of life, that those things, like you said, speaking in tongues, like you said, that's when they're speaking, it's actually an individual of a certain, tongue. But because we're so ignorant, we don't know who the hell talking. We don't know what's talking. So we just hear babble. You know what I mean? We don't know what the hell this means, because no one has a reference point to say, oh, that's such and such.
Exactly. And sometimes the family think the person is sick mentally, and then take the person to a hospital, and they bomb the person with medicine, and then the person really get crazy after that.
Yes. Yeah. Now there is an imbalance. You've created it because no one was able to help sort out the actual spiritual process that the person was going through.
Right.
Into the system, and the system ain't got no room for spiritual processes.
The system, right.
We got some medicine. We got this pill. We got that. We can give you a shot. What you want? You want a shot? You want a pill? You want liquid? How you want it? We got you. We just don't know how you want it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they won't ever sort out the spiritual aspects of that if they don't. Yeah, like you said, it goes into history. It goes into the roots of culture of Earth, right? So we talk about Africa, but you know that's the Earth. That's the culture. That's the human culture. and even when you go into like say the Eastern related spiritual practices, they even stem back to the African related spiritual practices. So it all stems from Mother Earth in Africa. But ultimately, I do want to ask you, you know, we've talked about a lot. What is there a spiritual practice or spiritual house or religious belief or affiliation that you do have that you would associate with?
I'm like, you know, I'm like in Bahia, Salvador, we many things. We many things. I like the Yoruba, like I was telling you many things about it. You know, I start to learn about Rastafari, which, you know, is what which I follow, and it was so hard. I was actually going into that with you before you asking me that, which is so hard because, you know, you meet some Rastas and they totally evangelical and they hate the African spirituality. That's the devil thing. That's obvious. That is there. Né? Which my teachers say that's ignorance, né? Of some people. Like they're everywhere. And I don't see any today. I don't see any like conflicts because I like to learn a lot of everything. I have a friend that is a Muslim, and he is the one that opened the mosque actually for people to pray. You know, serious. Married for a woman from Sudan. He went to America already, which changed my whole conception about Islam. You know, I'm like, oh man, cool. If I could devote myself for that too. This is so cool. You know. This is so nice, man. He gave me a Quran, you know. I'm like, man, this is so cool, man. I like that. So I don't have time to commit myself for one thing. So I decided myself to live my life naturally. I play reggae music. I sing reggae. I'm connected with Rastafari. I grew up. I grew up. I grew up seeing Yoruba communities in Brazil. You know, spiritualism house. The people getting trans all the time. So I decided to whatever is good, I get for me. I just started to rethink as I getting like 50-year-old. I'm getting older to rethink the conception of God with my father. You know, because my father, he tell me he's an atheist. You know, Christian. But in the American conception, I think he's a how to say agonist. How to say?
Atheist.
Not atheist, but
agnostic.
Agnostic. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes, sir.
Agnostic. So, but my father, he have his Ogun. And he light his candle for his Ogun. You feel me? But what he tell me is like this, Charles. He's a very wise man that learn about Indian spirituality, African spirituality, about a little bit about everything. And he say, look, son, because I go to Brazil and I make affirmation. I know this, I know that, I know this, I know Rastafari, I know, you know what I mean? Yes. And he looks, son, we don't know nothing here.
That's that wisdom right there, ain't it?
We try to find out. Of course, there's the energy, you know. We got faith, we got the intuition, our consciousness is God, you know. But this God, like a Superman, that they wait and come from the skies and this and that. I don't know this, you know. I'm not sure about that, you know what I mean? So he starts to talk to me like that, and you start to think, rethinking your whole conception about God, about this, and through Rastafari as well, because you are God. God is in you. And actually in African spirituality, God is in everything. He's on the plants, on the animals, on the dogs.
Yes,
So
I agree.
so that's when you say you sure when you see you're not sure about everything. Then you still have a lot to learn, and you gotta keep that channel open to learn more. Because
Yeah,
if not, you gotta get old, grumpy, man.
I agree.
You always know about everything.
Yeah, I agree 100%, bro. Because like you said, you know me. I've studied all of these different religions and practiced these different religions and all of this spiritual stuff that I'm interested in. It's like in the sense of someone saying, what is your religion? What do you believe? What do you you know, like even doing this show, man, I meet I feel like I'm learning a lot from different people that I talk to, right? And so it's never really I don't think a person who's really on a spiritual path settles on a thing that is what it is, because like you
Right.
said, it is a consistently growing aspect of yourself. It's constantly producing new lessons and new education and new varieties and varieties of understanding that say, well, it ain't what I thought it was.
That's right. That's right.
And then you get to that point, like you said, what your father said. Well, what I understand is I don't know much. And I can accept that, what Badu said, Erica Badu said, it. The man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
and the claiming of a religion is almost dividing now. You know what I mean? Like if I say I'm this, then if you don't like that, then here you go saying, well, I can't deal with him because they believe this or they believe that.
That's
So if I
right. That's
believe
right.
anything that I say I'm anything, then there will always be someone who can say, well, if they believe that, I don't like him or I don't deal with him. So I try not to even go there.
The
Right?
only thing I try to stay away today. I don't try to not treat nobody with disrespect, of course. But the only thing I try to get away today is because it's this new conception of God, especially from the new churches, the new small churches that they building all over South America, all over Latin America, all over the world. And they come from South America and they go to Africa and they corrupt and they do all kinds of stuff. Is that God that punish? Now he's gonna punish you. Now you're gonna suffer. If you don't do what I say, and actually, if you don't give the money to the church, you're gonna suffer too.
You don't give it. Hey, them tithes are part of your religious duties. Yes, if you don't, that's part of it, bro. Yeah, just not lie. You cannot lie, and you must give your money. That is.
Yeah. It's like a long time ago they used to sell the piece of land on the heaven, right? You gotta give a piece of land. You gotta guarantee your piece of land there.
It's your parents in the heaven. Exactly. I've heard about these stories, bro. Crazy stuff, man.
And now in Brazil, for example, they have the March for Jesus. Inside the March for Jesus in São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro, whatever they do, they have a giant gun that go inside the march for Jesus.
What is the gun related to Jesus?
The gun because David's army, so they can do
God's army, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Whatever. Like I said, this world tripped up, ain't it?
Yes.
This mug unraveling at a fast rate, but it's all right.
So that's the thing. It's like I was listening to the show with your brother just this morning.
Okay.
And he was kind of say something.
What's that?
In another words, like the Jesus and the God that they used to teach him when he was young. It's not the same that he knows now, And
yeah.
And then people trip about it because they like, oh, I talk to God, and this. And a lot of people is like, oh, I'm talk to a person. No, man, it's how you come. It's a
Yes. Yes.
you.
Yes.
It's up to you to choose the right words.
Yeah. And it's also, like you said, everything that we're doing, whether it be you studying, you're reading, you're learning about God out there, you're reading, you're meditating, you're whatever you're doing, all of the shit that is going on is on the inside. Everything that you're experiencing happening from the inside. So whether you trust that whatever you read out there, whatever this intuition or this feeling it's gonna have to come from in here. You know what I'm saying? As a guide to be, is it real to me? Whether it's the book, whether it's the meditation, whether it's my man's word, is it real to me inside? That's the only thing that's gonna make the real connection that moves you to the next stage in your development spiritually. Right. Yeah. So yeah. But
that's all I'm telling my students yesterday. I was like, look, dude, when you get 50 old, you start to think about everything you've done in your life. You start to think about all the shit you've done. I'm sorry, my language, all this stuff you've done, and if you don't get right, it's not gonna be good, for your head, for your spirit. You're gonna die old, grumpy, and not feeling good.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you learn how to fix things like that, quick before you get old. So you don't regret.
Yes, yes, that's the thing, man. That's one of my highlights. I always say when I'm on my deathbed, I don't want to be looking back saying I should have did this. I wish I had done that. I wish I had did this. I could have been that. I want to leave it all on the field. I want to do everything that I thought I should or could do. I want to make all the apologies. I want to leave all the love that I had in me to everybody who I got. You know what I mean? I want to be the light that God put in me, expressed as far as it can go until that bitch burn out.
Yeah, that's why people asking me, is God talking to you? I say yes, man. God told me now that I have to take care of my family and do my best for my family. That's what I gotta do now in my life.
Yeah.
Make things happen, and try to work on myself. And be cool, because I'm like my mama. My dad is super calm. Hard to get mad. I never seen how hard to see my daddy getting mad at someone. Super. My mama is fire. So sometimes I get fire, I start to argue with someone. So because nothing sometimes, because something that's not even important. It's the material things, little things, and you mad at these things. Instead there's more important things in life, to worry about than be worried. Argue with my wife for a little simple thing, of the house, I'm like,
I think that's one of the skills of maturing, one of the gifts of wisdom that comes with age is that you learn where and how to utilize your energy in its best way. You know what I mean? Like you said, instead of arguing, there's other things I could do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think that's one of the things that comes with.
I hope not be nobody watching the show after say, "Mom, this MF did this to me, and now he's acting all nice." I say, "I'm sorry."
Right, we used to be who we were. Now we're transformed souls. So blessed love. Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't want to hold you much longer, brother. I do and appreciate you being here. I definitely enjoyed the interview, but I know that you are a teacher and that you have students and you have things going on that I'd like you to go ahead and, if you would, announce to the audience, because if these are ways that we could get you some motivation and inspiration too, I'd love for that to happen.
I definitely do that. Yes.
So what is? Yeah, please go ahead. Announce your. Yes.
Say it.
You.
I don't understand what you wanted me to say.
Where you're teaching, how they can get in contact with you.
I'm sorry. North Star, like how do you call the North Star that help the African Americans, right?
Okay.
That's the name of my school, Frederick Douglass, right? North Star. You're
Okay.
referring to the North Star. That's
Okay.
why I chose the name of my school, North Star Capoeira. So you can find North Star Capoeira on Facebook, on Instagram, northstarcapoeira.com as well. I teach in Bloomington, né, for all ages. I teach a harmony school for children on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And Thursdays, and Saturdays at my studio in Bloomington, Indiana. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, everything. Mestre Iuri, northstarcapoeira.com. Give me a call, send me an email, message if you're interested in learning more about capoeira. Né? I teach for a charter school, Monarch Academy, Indianapolis, which is free. The school is free for children 12, 13 years old. It's a regular school, but they have arts in general for the kids there.
Wonderful.
Called Monarch Academy. So that's for your children. If you need a school for your children, if your children need to start in a good school where you can learn from African teacher, African Brazilian teacher, Mexicans, no Hondurans. There's people from different countries teaching.
Very good.
Yes, and I also teach for IU. I'm gonna start the course that I've been teaching IU Indianapolis, not Bloomington.
Very good. Okay.
Indianapolis for the African American and African diaspora studies.
Glad.
So you can look for Mestre Iuri, Mestre Iuri, MESTRE IURI, Mestre Iuri Santos. Online, you're gonna find videos. You're gonna find my phone number, my email.
Good.
You can find everything
Very good.
there. Okay.
Well, there is also a plug that I wanted to give because the brother just totally seemed to forget that he is also a business owner. He is also the owner of
the Rasta Pops.
There we go, baby. Get it out there.
Actually, Rasta Pops is already starting early this season. We already have business already. So
very good, very good. Give us some info on Rasta Pops for those who may
Rasta Pops, organic and natural and homemade. I'm saying artisan popsicles. Popsicles actually is a brand. Is Ice Pops the name?
Okay.
Everybody knows as popsicles, right? But it's a nice pop, and the best you can find online. Everything about it. You can order for your party, for your birthday party, for your wedding, for your company, for your business. If you have an event, I can, catering for your event. Yes.
And I would like to say they have some wonderful, unique flavors that you will not find in any store. Okay, so you need to go look up Rasta Pops. I'm talking about some flavors that are extremely unique. They have
Rasta Pop is the bomb. Rasta Pop, everybody likes.
Yeah, they got a ginger lemonade. What the ginger lemonade
is a quality honey ginger lemonade, a quality product. I guarantee.
Guarantee.
Yes.
Well, there you have it. We have Mestre Iuri Santos, North Star Capoeira, Angola, also owner of Rasta Pops. And these are wonderful flavors. Like I said, they're organic, all natural, homemade, local. So, hey, shop with us. Anyway, I thank you all for being here. This was a wonderful experience, and I hope you all got something from it. To my brother Iuri Santos, namaste, brother. I appreciate you being
here. Brother, I'm the one that appreciate the love. Thanks for the opportunity here, and I hope everything went through smooth, and the program and the show came as smooth as can be, so you can present. And yes, and I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Ah,
Bless.
blessings. I will see you soon. One love, fam.
One love, my brother.
All right, one love. Good. Got that in. I don't know what you said. You was going somewhere, babe. Where you say you was doing? What? Oh, okay, yeah. I'm like, I don't know what she said. Wrapping it up with the brother. Brother Iuri Santos. Got that done. Stop recording. Yeah, I thought I did already.